Hey, I'm with Ken from MicroFacture and Illumination.
Right.
812?
Illumination, yeah.
Exactly, 812 Illumination.
Okay.
These guys, MicroFacture is a really good customer of ours. They a lot of business for defense. They run a lot of metal through their CNC machining, so we do a lot of turnings business with them. And some solids when you guys, the rare mistakes you make come to us too, but you guys don't like that. But then also they were telling me about another business they have. So let's get into all that. First of all, this expo, you just told me you guys have some of the equipment here that's here. Talk about robotics and how that's worked in your industry.
Well, yeah, we have 4 robot systems, FANUC robot systems that we use to run 24/7. We're more of a job shop, so it is high mix, low volume. But for those systems, we try to get volume work so we can run them 24 hours a day without any any labor applied to those jobs.
That's crazy. So how, I mean, that obviously, you still need people to manage the process, right? So people's fear about robotics taking jobs, how would you talk about that?
Oh, in our industry with the high precision stuff we're doing, that wouldn't be necessarily a concern because, we're making so let's say we have a job run on a FANUC robot. It's basically just so it can run overnight. But we still have a technician who has to set that robot up. Then we have to have a CNC machinist who has to check those parts when they come in the morning and load the robot back up with the raw stock.
Okay.
So there's still 2 people involved, but instead of, let's say, 8 hours of labor applied to that job every day, maybe there's 3.
Okay, so those other hours are filled with maybe obviously quality control at a higher level,
yep.
Maybe even some kind of other functions, marketing or other ways to help the company. Is that typically what happens, you find?
Yeah, and I think one of the things that it could potentially happen is your lower tier labor, the lower skilled labor, could be affected more than your higher skilled labor.
Sure.
So higher skilled labor is still going to be needed to set up these robots and to program them and different things like that, and then obviously the quality control aspect.
Why don't you give us a quick tour of some of this?
Sure.
Where would we see these parts in our common lives?
Yeah, so parts like this one here, this is going to be an aerospace part, probably for a commercial aircraft, a Boeing commercial aircraft.
Okay.
Some of these other parts.
Well, let's protect this piece.
Yeah, right.
Let's make sure this one's real good.
Exactly. So some of these other parts, like this is probably for a satellite.
Okay.
Some sort of satellite component. This is probably a weapons component.
Okay.
Probably. We have a customer in Ohio that manufactures the Tomahawk missile.
Okay.
The fuse for the Tomahawk missile. I believe that this goes into that.
Okay.
Some of these this is a part for a crossbow.
Oh, cool. My cousin Mike would be all over that. He would be all over that. He knows what part that is, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it's just, I don't know what it is exactly, but, and then a lot of and this is just all aerospace components, connectors, different things. These are actually some watch components.
Oh,
some of these really little things in here are what you can see, actually the hands.
That's nuts to get to that level.
Yeah, that's our wire EDM.
Okay.
That makes those things. So.
Okay. You guys are really into a lot of
different things. So.
And I guess you do have to diversify. So, because defense spending can go all over. So you have to have a diverse customer base to make sure you're protected on the downside.
Yeah, and that's the biggest challenge.
Oh, I'm sure.
Because aerospace has been really down the last year and a half. So now we've gone a little bit into like our weapons, bolts and carriers and stuff like that. But that industry is very up and down depending on who's in office.
Right. Exactly.
So different people get in office, all of a sudden they're selling a lot of guns, and then it could disappear. So you can't put all your eggs in that basket. So
every basket's dangerous.
That's right.
And you also have to have the capacity to run multiple things because you're going to get a high demand job that's like needs top priority. Everything needs top priority. So it's hard to manage that, I would imagine.
Yeah, it can be, and a job shop is a job shop atmosphere too. So we don't have a lot of long running contracts. So we're getting the product in. They need it in 8 weeks. That's it. And we go to the next job. So you can only see maximum 2 months out. You don't have a lot of projection. So that's another thing that's a very challenging part of this business. you can always go off last year, but
Right.
that's a shot in the dark half the time. So
I'm going to ask you a question about process and production
Yeah.
and keeping things on your shop clean.
Yeah.
Because it's going to relate to what we do. We obviously haul scrap metal for you guys and for customers everywhere.
Yeah.
How important is it to get stuff picked up quickly for you guys?
very important. I mean, we can plan the best we can. I mean, and you know, as far as managing our scrap is all done by Josh, who calls you guys. And it's not always the easiest thing to plan when we're going to need pickups all the time.
Right.
You know, just because, you know, we're running now, especially running 24/7, because now all of a sudden he's coming in the morning,
right,
and all our hoppers are all full of.
And you can't just. And there's no, I mean, space is a premium.
Yep. Absolutely.
Everyone for space is a premium. Bins are at a premium.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of times you have finished product you can't ship out for either contract reasons, billing reasons.
Yeah.
So stuff's got to get out on a timely basis, I would imagine.
Yep. Gotcha. Yeah, you guys have been great at that. I mean, I think 90 or 95% of the time we call in the morning, you're over that day.
We try same
You know?
day. We have a 24-hour guarantee, but we try same day.
Okay. I mean, there's been a couple times it was in next day, but that's nothing.
Yeah.
For us, we can generally always wait a day or two if we need
Right.
to. But especially now that, like I just mentioned to you earlier, we're running a lot of this. We have a ton of aluminum scrap.
You know we love to take that off your hands.
Yeah.
We're fine with that.
Yeah, I know.
And you better keep making, and you could make a few more mistakes. I mean, honestly,
right.
you guys are too good. We could see some more mistakes.
Yeah,
it wouldn't be bad.
I bet.
Let's talk about 812 illumination. This is actually a really interesting story. So why don't you give a brief overview of this, how this developed in the company? I think it's really neat to talk about the where the name comes from.
Yeah, I mean, the name comes from John 8:12, where Jesus said, "I am the light of the world." And just the lighting company kind of sprang out of 2012 and 13 when the fracking was really starting to boom in Pennsylvania. We were selling a lot of them into the fracking industry. Most of them, though, were replacements for the light towers, the big light towers, the harsh lighting.
Okay.
And we were replacing that whole head with a directional light that one of them would probably light up a football field.
Wow.
You know, of space. So they would put it in the center and would light up 360 degrees instead of direction.
I see.
And for the workers that are out there on site, it's a lot easier. It's a lot nicer to work around, less shadows when you're working.
Sure.
Because the light's coming from all around you, kind of thing. As the fracking kind of got politicized, let's say, in Pennsylvania, that really took a downturn. So in about 2013 into 14, we developed the LED product, which is what we have here today.
And I'll tell you, it's giving a glare off of this.
That's right.
Really,
that's right.
It's a really nice glare.
So so we developed our line of LED lighting, and then basically it was my job starting in 2014 to create a distribution network all over the nation. So I did a lot of traveling around.
And you had a lot of training for this, right?
I have zero training.
That's what makes it the best.
Yeah, matter of fact, I was right out of the military, so I had no.
Well, that's training, my friend.
Yeah, it's
that's
some kind of training.
That's the real world training.
Yeah. So traveling and creating a distribution network, which has turned out pretty well. I mean, we're in Granger, we're in MSC sells some of our product. We do. Like I mentioned earlier, the PGA of America has about 100 of these lights right here. They use for all the majors.
So they just ship these around, like they store them and then
So
bring
they have
them
a central location in Atlanta where they store it.
Wow.
And they ship it out to all the different locations where they have events.
Wow.
So I've been to a bunch of. I went to the. The Ryder Cup last year in Wisconsin,
cool.
where they had like 50 of our lights out there, and I went out the week before. I helped them set them up, and then I got tickets to the event, so that was cool.
That is so neat.
Yeah, so it's pretty widespread. Although the majority of our business is, like I said, in road infrastructure.
So most of us will see it on a night job.
Yeah. So on a night job on
when
the road.
We're complaining about the lanes being narrowed, that's when we'll see your lights.
That's exactly right.
Okay.
So there's actually states that have come out and mandated glare-free lighting on all road construction projects. So North Carolina being one of them. If you go through North Carolina at night, going through a road construction, they have to by law have
that's awesome.
glare-free lighting.
And you know what? I'm sure lives have been saved, and easy. I mean, because how many times do you hear about the construction accidents, the guys working and ladies working at night especially? I mean, that's so dangerous inherently. So anything you can do to make it better is good. You know?
So there's more states. You know, the big problem with that one is, how do you enforce it?
Right.
You come out there and you fine them, and you know, that type of thing is challenging.
It's probably at the contract levels the best you can do.
It is. So a lot of times when we're bidding at the contract level. So when they're bidding a contract, they're putting in 100, not 100, but usually like 10 or 20 of these lights for a larger project. And
how hot do these things get? Because this, I feel nothing here, to be honest.
About 150 degrees.
Okay.
So you wouldn't want to grab it. Right, with your hand.
Well, it's good it's out of reach, but honestly, you don't feel anything coming from it.
So, like, just as an example, like an HID or a halogen light, like these are all LEDs in here, so they're not hot. But your typical light, you're talking halogens like 450 degrees. So it's about a third, you know, of a typical light as far as heat goes. So, you know, if that canvas collapses down on there, it will not burn it.
Right.
So
that's amazing. What is the canvas made? Is it just regular
It's
canvas?
nylon.
Really?
It's nylon.
Okay, I was wondering if it was something specialized.
Yeah, I mean it's high density. It's what do they call it? Non-flammable. So it's got all kinds of chemicals in it to protect it from.
And one of the best things I see when I look up, I see the American flag, made in the USA.
Yep, made in the United States.
And that's actually what today is kind of all about, is local vendors supporting each other and keeping things local, because that's the only way we're going to have a chance. It's the only way we're going to have a chance for our kids to have jobs, is to keep things local. You know?
Absolutely.
Well, it's been awesome talking to you.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Appreciate it, my man.
Appreciate it.